Hi friends, good evening. How are you? Fine. So I feel that all of you are ready to listen to a new class. And this class is on a topic related to occupational information. And here we are going to talk about dissemination of occupational information. We have talked about what occupational information was and what are the different classification of occupational information and collection of information. And now we are going to talk about dissemination of occupational information. What does it mean? Dissemination of occupational information is spreading the information related to different jobs so that to make them useful for job seekers. Is it important? Do you believe that we have to spread the information? Why should we spread the information? If some people want information, then they can get the information by asking someone when it is needed. Actually, dissemination is important because nowadays people plan their career at the early stage of their education. Actually, they have to plan. If you make your students plan their career after a 10th or 11th or 12th, then they will be confused. Then after 10th and after 12th, they will become in a dilemma. They are confused. And for avoiding this confusion, let them think about their future career during the school days on the basis of their taste. Then they can learn on the basis of such a plan. Otherwise, sometimes they may be confused and they may have to miss 1 or 2 years. Then they may miss some jobs which they wanted or which they want to get. For example, if someone wants to join Air Force in India, he should be able to keep the chronological order. I mean, he should try not to miss any year, because there are some jobs in Air Force which needs +2 as qualification, but the matter is that the age should be 70. That means there should not be no year missing. There are some jobs in Air Force which needs degree, but the age limit is 20. That means no missing of years. So people should know different criteria during their school days itself. Then they can plan, they can arrange their studies on the basis of such a plan. So dissemination of occupational information is important. And moreover, actually it is not the career guide who has to create the plan for the students. Actually, students should themselves plan their career. So for that, we can give them the information during the school days itself. So the dissemination is important. And how can we disseminate? Or how can we spread occupational information? There are different ways and methods. One of the most important or commonly used mode is organizing career talks or career conferences, career classes, career workshops by inviting some experts in career counseling. And they would come to the campus, then they would introduce themselves, and they would talk about different types of importance of career planning, and they would talk about different types of jobs, and they would talk about the qualification needed for such jobs. They would talk about the salary scale of different jobs. So by conducting such career talks, career workshops, career seminars, career conferences at your campus, you can spread the information, you can disseminate occupational information. Another thing is by making use of mass media, giving some columns in some papers, publishing some articles on the current trends in the field of career. And most of us are reading newspapers, most of the people are watching television, most of the people are listening to radio. So when people happen to see something about the career planning, when they are watching some favorite TV shows, when they are listening to favorite radio broadcasts, it will be useful for spreading the information. So making use of mass media, you can disseminate occupational information. And another mode is using some publications, special publications. So special issues should be published for occupational information. For example, you can see something like Toil Vartha in Malayalam. Such publications can give more and more information on different jobs and different career opportunities. So making use of some publications. So this is a special occupational publications. Then another method is organizing some field trips. You can bring your students to different business centers, to different places which have got some occupational importance. You can bring them to radio stations, you can bring them to TV studios, you can bring them to some factories, you can bring them to some companies, you can bring them to some business startups, you can bring them to the hospitals. This also would make them know about different types of jobs, the status they get by getting such jobs. So by organizing field trips, you can disseminate occupational information. And another method is making use of libraries. People enter libraries for reading and for spending their time for some useful information. Then you can subscribe some publications in the library, and when the students enter the library for reading the newspaper or for reading some books, then they would come to see all these items there. Then they would accidentally, sometimes they would read, then they would get some interest. So dissemination of occupational information is something important, because students themselves should plan their career at the early stage of their life. So let them know about different types of jobs, different types of careers, different salary scales. So this is something about dissemination of occupational information. Thank you very much.